Minister Duma commends SOEs' performances. First Finance Department staff take ownership of homes. And more people are brushing every year.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Friday's news. Minister for Public Enterprise and State Investment, William Duma, has commended the chief executives and board members of state-owned enterprises for their leadership and management during the political instability of recent times. He singled out Air Niugini and PNG Power for their peaceful preempting of planned strikes by several employees of state-owned enterprises.
At a meet-and-greet evening last night hosted by Kumul Consolidated Holdings, the all-encompassing authority for state-owned assets and enterprises, and attended by leaders of the state-owned enterprises, Minister Duma took the opportunity to commend the heads of the SOEs who were present at the event. He specifically applauded the management team of PNG Power Limited and Air Niugini Limited for preempting civil disobedience by their employees and sticking to business as usual amidst the recent political ruckus.
As your minister, you really made me proud by managing your employees and managing what potentially were really explosive situations. I'd like to, at this juncture, commend the efforts of our chairman of Air Niugini and Sir Frederick Ryan, CEO Simon Fu, particularly for managing our pilots who forgot that the business of politics is better off being left to politicians, particularly when what they were all talking about had nothing to do with the basic terms and conditions. So I'd like to commend those two gentlemen. I also would like to commend and thank the efforts of Chairman of PNG Power, Andrew Ogle, and CEO Chris Bias, and their team for also managing their employees.
Earlier this month, after a fleet of flights were cancelled, rumors and social media commentary concluded that Air Niugini pilots were on strike and wouldn't come back to work until Prime Minister Peter O'Neill stepped down. However, the national carrier released a statement that read that the delayed and cancelled services were due to technical and crewing issues, which were jotted down to usual operational challenges. On his part, Chairman for Kumul Consolidated Holdings, Paul Narau, urged the SOEs to follow the example of NDB and PNG Post and hand their dividends to KCH.
I'm pleased to announce tonight that 2 SOEs have already contributed dividends to KCH, the shareholder. National Development Bank gave 1 million kina. PNG Post is about to give 500,000.
Leon Jarari, National EMTV News.
Minister Malakai Tabar has officially taken over from Nixon Duban as Minister for Transport and Infrastructure. Minister Tabar leaves his former Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Technology, but he is not new to the Transport Ministry, having occupied it in 2014. He says he looks forward to working with the department again.
The new Minister for Transport, Malakai Tabar, said he wasn't a new face to the ministry and was looking forward to working with the department. He also thanked Minister Duban for his work as the minister.
But I believe also, and I would like to thank the Secretary, the department, and especially our outgoing Minister for his commitment over the last 5-6 months, especially the launching of the corporate plan.
Leaving Minister Nixon Duban said he was pleased with what he had achieved in a short period of time. He said he realized a lot of policy angles that needed to be in place and trusts the Secretary would continue the good work.
Our government will depend on strategic plans, strategic thinking, strategic approach. And the corporate plan sets the foundation for achieving such. So the department, I think, is moving in the right direction. We've got very good people who have contributed immensely in the development of policies, strategies. I am satisfied as a minister. I am satisfied that you have the right momentum.
Minister Tabar said that even though they have 10 more months before the elections, he hopes to contribute what he can to the department.
Being in the office, and talking to people and talking especially to the secretary. I don't believe in being away and being called time and time again. Unfortunately, our election is coming up.
Adelaide Xerox, Kari National, EMTV News.
It was a dream come true for Stephen Nukwitu and his family to finally own a home. They are among a number of public servants who have benefited from the government's first home ownership housing scheme worth 200 million kina. Our reporter Vasinata Yama witnessed the opening of Stephen Nukwitu's family home, a life-changing experience for him and his family.
Nukwitu is a father of 2 beautiful girls and is from Bougainville. He's the Deputy Secretary Operations in the Finance Department. His family has always dreamt of owning a home, but time never allowed it until today. Nukwitu now has a shelter, a place where his wife described as a mansion. It is located at Tokarara in the nation's capital.
On this occasion, we've realized that our dreams have come into reality. It's no longer a dream now. It's something that is
Our dreams, I mean.
It is a joint housing scheme between the Finance and Treasury Department and National Planning. The program first started in 1995 but stopped for various reasons. This is the first of 31 new homes for staff of the Finance Department. Finance Secretary Dr. Ken Nangen officiated the program today. The day also marks the reactivation of the housing scheme. More affordable homes will be built and presented to public servants who are first home owners under the 4% BSB housing scheme.
So what we see here is a home. Stephen will not remain in the public service for a long time. This is the beauty of this program. Once Stephen reaches his retirement in public service, the loan is for 4 years, but the children will take over that loan. That is the beauty of this national government's loan scheme.
Nukwitu's home design has motivated other public servants in bringing new concepts of homes in PNG to transform the way they live.
Anybody can own a home. For us, Papua New Guineans, this is our country. So, like now with the government policy, which is currently it has embarked on, it has given opportunity to us, the public housing, the 4% housing. Anybody from any Papua New Guinean can be able to tap into the home loans and build something like this.
Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
Number One Super officially opened its latest commercial complex yesterday. The fund's board revealed that the complex was only the beginning of a project initiated 4 years ago by former board chairman Sir Nagora Bogan and has been coined the Number One Plaza.
As the evening unfolded, board chairman Anthony Smara launched the opening with a rather significant gesture. Humble members of the fund were given the privilege to officiate the opening with the cutting of the ribbon in the presence of board members, stakeholders and staff of Number One Super. This, Smara said, was an acknowledgement of the contributions made by Number One Super's loyal members that have pushed the fund's substantial growth in recent years. The complex could possibly rival some of Port Moresby's tallest buildings, extending 11 floors up, 2 of the first which have been occupied by the fund itself. It is called the Old Parliament House building for its situation on the land that historically once was occupied by the first Parliament House. A guest tour gave a glimpse of what Number One Super has done with its office space. It was designed to improve staff performance with the inclusion of state-of-the-art training facilities and even a staff gym apart from the conventional office desks.
Strategy that blue chip buildings must have blue chip clients. NSL has taken 2 floors of this building. Our staff have moved in. Our people that have gone through this building have seen it's a quality building. They've seen our fit out. They've seen how good an office space can look with a quality fit out and how it can translate into improved staff performance.
According to Smara, the 7 billion kina fund invests around 14% of its funds in its property portfolio. The Old Parliament House is but a glimpse of the Number One Plaza, which will house commercial, residential, retail and attractive amenities, to name a few, in just one precinct.
Property for us accounts for, at the moment, 14% of our portfolio. So around 750 million kina. But we have 600 million kina of projects on the drawing board for this fund. And there are projects that will take the fund for the next 20 years in terms of delivering strong returns for our members.
He added that precinct development is its main focus and believes this to be a contribution to what it envisions to be iconic properties that will drive national development in the long run. Melissa Guviro, National EMTV News.
Among stories after the break, the National Toothbrushing Day. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. The number of people participating in the National Toothbrushing Day continues to increase by thousands every year. This year, a record 215,000 people participated. That's an additional 55,000 people compared to last year's nationwide participation. The day is a combined initiative of Colgate-Palmolive and the Health Department to improve oral health for Papua New Guineans. The celebration in Port Moresby was staged at the Ted Dero Primary School.
At 10:30 this morning, 215,000 people right across Papua New Guinea participated in the National Toothbrushing Day. These children took part in the event. Some did last year and again this year. The message emphasized throughout the event was for children to adopt the healthy habit of brushing their teeth twice a day, every day.
That our ability to help everyone, boys and girls, mothers and fathers in the country, is a very big challenge for us.
National Toothbrushing Day was first observed in 2012 and has increased in participation over the years. Today, 369 schools took part, including 141 organizations. Oral health is an important aspect of child development, and parents are encouraged to ensure their children have clean and healthy teeth. Statistics released by the World Health Organization reveals that tooth decay is common in children below the age of 6. With these high statistics, Colgate-Palmolive, through its Bright Smiles, Bright Futures campaign, is doing awareness in schools and other public forums to educate children on the importance of oral health.
And they say that if you brush your teeth properly, twice a day, every day, with a fluoride toothpaste, it goes a long way to not only keeping your teeth healthy, but also your gums and your mouth. So it's all about loving your mouth.
Other important tips for maintaining good oral health include using calcium fluoride toothpaste, changing your toothbrush every 3 months, and eating fruits. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Children and adults with profound blindness have now been given the opportunity to better their reading and learning skills. The Australian High Commission today launched the Braille Embosser equipment, which will enhance learning and teaching for children in schools with special needs.
The Braille Embosser machine is a long-time need for the Special Education Resource Centre. Arnold Koima, Inclusive Special Education Inspector, says it was a 4-year proposal that has now been realised.
Students with disabilities have so many barriers. But they struggle through. They do not complain. You will never see them complain. They always accept what the teachers tell them to do. Even though the curriculum development office is here, they have no access to Braille. They are not provided with the right materials to be educated, so they suffer.
The machine presented today is one of the 4 machines that has been handed over to the Special Education Resource Centre from the Australian High Commission. One machine cost more than 63,000 kina. It is a special type of machine that uses Braille software that reads and produces documents as Braille cells and can print 900 pages in an hour. The machine can be used by children who are profoundly blind to read braille letters and words on education materials. The first 2 machines have already been handed over to the other resource centers in the Highlands and New Guinea Islands. It will benefit the visually impaired who previously have not had access to such technology. Marilyn Diaukatam, National, MTV News.
In a move to provide affordable building materials in PNG and the Pacific, the Institute of Architects and Partners hosted an architects trade show on Wednesday in Port Moresby. The trade show, exclusively for the architecting community in the country, showcased the latest in construction product technology.
Based in Townsville, Australia, Pacific Islands International is an international building materials supply company servicing PNG and the Pacific. The exposition was held in partnership with the PNG Institute of Architects. Wednesday's trade show, although solely for the architectural community, will pave the way forward for advancements in the construction industry, supplying advanced building materials suitable for PNG tropical conditions. According to Managing Director Ashley Finn, the company is family-run.
So we've been dealing with the distributors of Papua New Guinea since 1998, and we carry brands such as the CSR Gyprock, CSR Cementel products, as well as the Rondo, suspended ceiling and drywall systems, and Armstrong ceiling panels. The materials are all to Australian standards, and they're tested and approved in the tropical conditions of North Queensland from where we are in Townsville. So they're tested, in the hot sun and withstand the test of time, I guess.
Finn added that the highlight of operating in PNG is that the emerging economy of PNG creates great opportunity and the future for his company. Pacific Islands International is currently distributing its hardware supplies through Badili Hardware. From the wide range of products supplied by the company, luxury paints stands out with a not-so-common graffiti buster paint and even a fire shield paint that can withstand fire for a longer period of time compared to regular paints. Lorraine Gabina, National MTV News.
The Morobe provincial government has been put under pressure to fix bridges and road sections along the Bukawa Road after the success of a Taro project in Buhalu village. Following yesterday's Buhalu Taro project story, which aired on MTV, Morobe Governor Kelly Naru says the provincial government has spent 5 million kina on the road and it plans to do more with the help of the national government. Naru's response comes a day after locals in Bukawa highlighted agricultural potential in the area and the need for better infrastructure.
And so we have put in money up to date, probably about 4 or 5 million kina already. And that has gone into constructing the road just past the Taro project site up to the Labuta LNG chambers and beyond is the road that our contractors are working on. And at this point of time, that road has already reached up to a place called Jagareng. And from Jagareng, the road is also going to wind down and up again to a place called Ogorenang, which is in the Brunquat LLG. And so that is now accessible. And we are waiting for the Finsafen leg of it to be completed. And that is the part where we have left to the district to manage.
The newly established Madang Climate Change Committee has begun its climate change awareness, starting by placing billboards in the districts. The billboards, carrying messages written in Tokpisin, aims to raise awareness about the impacts of climate change. Rachel Shise reports.
The recently established Madang Climate Change Committee has already kicked off awareness on climate change in the province using billboards stationed at strategic locations of Madang's 5 districts. The billboards outline the causes and effects of climate change and the adaptation measures. The acting managing director of the National Climate Change and Development Authority, Joe Pokana, who officially unveiled the Madang district's billboard, says he will source funds to keep the committee on its feet. The effects of climate change in the province are fast becoming both on the mainland and on the islands, and the committee hopes to get all the help it needs to help the people. Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
And now looking at our finance news, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.3155 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.3080, $0.4071 Australian dollars, $0.2750 euro, and 31.90 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee closed higher, while gold, cocoa, and copper closed the day lower. Palm oil, crude oil, and copper closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 15.82 points lower, the ASX is trading at 5.75 points higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 7.16 points higher. Stories making headlines overseas. When we come back, stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. And now to overseas news. A woman who survived the horrors of the Holocaust shared her unique story with CNN. She spent her childhood dancing and was forced to use her talents to entertain the vicious Nazi doctor known as the Angel of Death. We warned viewers some pictures in this report are disturbing.
I had my 17th birthday in Auschwitz.
Edith Eva Eger is a survivor.
Even though I was told every day, you're never going to get out of here alive. The only way you get out of here is as a corpse. And I said to myself, oh yeah, I know better, yeah.
In Hitler's death camps, she witnessed the worst of humanity. And yet somehow, 71 years later, she continues to focus on the brighter side of life.
I want to have a full life, not to be damaged goods.
Eger was only a teenager and already an accomplished ballet dancer and gymnast when Hungarian Nazis rounded up her family because they were Jews. They ended up packed in a train headed for the Auschwitz concentration camp in Nazi-occupied Poland.
My mom held me in the carol car and said, we don't know where we're going. We don't know what's going to happen. Just remember, no one can take away from you what you put here in your own mind.
Upon arrival, Eger says her mother and father were immediately ordered into the gas chambers by Dr. Joseph Mengele, a camp medical officer who became known as the Angel of Death.
And I followed my mom. And Dr. Mengele grabbed me. I never forget that eye contact. And he said, you're going to see your mother soon. She's just going to take a shower.
Eger's parents were murdered in the gas chambers of Auschwitz, along with hundreds of thousands of others. But that wasn't Eger's last encounter with one of the Holocaust's worst war criminals.
So Dr. Mengele came to the barracks and wanted to be entertained.
The ballerina was ordered to dance for the man who murdered her parents.
And I was so scared, so I closed my eyes and I pretended that the music was Tchaikovsky. And I was dancing the Romeo and Juliet in the Budapest Opera House.
Somehow Eger survived Auschwitz, as well as disease, death marches, and slave labor.
When my little girl was born, and there is the baby here.
A year after being rescued by U.S. soldiers, Eger married another Jewish survivor of the war. And soon after, the young family emigrated to the U.S., where eventually she embarked on an entirely new career.
And during a very, very, very challenging times.
She became a clinical psychologist specializing in the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder. Now 88, she draws from her own traumatic experiences to help treat patients at her home in California.
They are not grandchildren, they're
great-grandchildren.
Former ballerina's great-grandchildren are her greatest pride and joy.
4 generations, that's The best revenge to Hitler I can think of. Yes, I'm here, and I'm so happy that I'm able to talk to you.
And now to take us to Chukai Sports, it's lucky number 18 for 18-year-old Malaysian sprinter Khairul Hafiz Jantang as he breaks an 18-year 100-meter national record at the 18th Sukma Malaysian Games. Khairul Hafiz had come into the competition fresh from being crowned as the fastest junior sprinter in Asia after winning the 100 meters gold at the Asian Junior Championships in Vietnam last month in a time of 10.36 seconds.
On Wednesday, the Malaccan-born athlete became Malaysia's fastest man and claimed the undisputed Sprint King title after crossing the finish line in 10.18 seconds, well ahead of his two rivals. He also smashed the record of 10.30 seconds set by Sarawakian Watson Yambek at the 1998 pre-Commonwealth Games meet in Kuala Lumpur. What makes Khairul's feat all the more memorable is that he blitzed the record on Watson's home ground. The 100-meter sprint, always the blue ribbon event of any major games, gave thousands of fans who had filled the Sarawak Stadium at Putrajaya, Kuching, their money's worth, although entrance was free. Sarawak's Jonathan Yapa edged Malacca's Badrul Hisyamanap in a photo finish for silver after both timed 10.36 seconds. Khairul's time was also just 0.01 seconds off the SEA Games mark of 10.17 seconds set by Indonesia's Suyo Agung Wibowo in Laos in 2009. Vanessa Knight, EMTV World Sports.
Chukai Sports is next. We'll have Rugby Union and Rugby League. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The 2016 Export Rugby Championship can be seen as the breeding ground of future PNG Puk-Puk players. Over the past 2 rounds, a gush of talent has surfaced, impressing national coach Sydney Wesley. One lad worth mentioning is a young 20-year-old from New Ireland, Alois Pitalai. Could very well be PNG Rugby's next best thing.
This new kid on the block, fullback for the New Ireland Drongos, could very well be PNG Rugby's best prospect at hand. He's young, he's fresh, and he's got a whole heap of talent.
Name Lumi Aloysius Pitalai from Mangai Village, Keviang, New Ireland Province. I'm 20 years old and Misa play number 1 position, backs below 15s, New Ireland Drongos. Play rugby when I'm 12 years old. Play 7th union rugby, lo club competition, wanted team lo Miller Place Mangai Barbarans.
Level-headed as he is, Pitalai's ultimate objective doesn't seem that big of a challenge, following the footsteps of his father, a former Puk-Puk, George Pitalai.
Me one player PNG Puk-Puks rugby union player George Pitalai, so me son belong, so me son up strong supporting so rugby 15s we must build up in New Ireland Province. In the future me like come up with Pablo me represent team Papua New Guinea one time.
Alois isn't very far off from his dream, with national coach Sydney Wesley's eyes already set on him. All it takes is a little more time and dedication to the 15-man game.
Huge talent, I should say, and not just him. There was a couple in the Black Orchids team as well. But yeah, definitely my pick in the Drongos team would be the 15s. The number 15. He did some amazing things there, I would say. When they were in trouble, he pretty much brought them out of trouble. So not just him, there's a couple of young boys as well in both teams.
The Export Rugby Championships has so far created windows of opportunities for the developing unions to put on display some of their unseen talents, much like 20-year-old Alois. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
The last 2 weeks of export rugby in various locations around the country has also done a lot for 15s rugby, as more players from Rugby 7's background take part in the 15s competition. After observing matches in Lae, Rabaul and Port Moresby, Rugby Union national coach Sydney Wesley is now looking forward to a fruitful year of Rugby 15s next year.
Sydney Wesley is now hopeful the hosting of competitions like the Export Rugby can elevate the possibilities of 15s rugby to be played nationwide by next year. This is because most of the rugby union competitions in the country have been playing 7s for the last couple of years. He said Export Rugby currently stands to push for a higher level of rugby and 15s is the level to play at.
A lot of raw talent, I should say. Just a pity that we've never had a 15s tournament like this in the last couple of years, and probably, I mean, it's a pity that some of the unions have not been playing 15s, haven't played 15s, or have not been played 15s for the last couple of years. And probably it's time that a competition like this will pretty much trigger I should say, the resurrection of 15s competition in Papua New Guinea.
Surprisingly, most players who took part in the Export Rugby over the last 2 weeks in Lae, Rabaul and Port Moresby displayed brilliant skills and have proved competitive in 15s despite playing 7s in the normal competitions. Wesley added this is a promising outcome as this shows they can be able to take rugby union to another level.
It's promising. Just looking at the Drongos and Black Orchids game, I thought they were going to play a bit of more of throwing the ball around like 7 style, but it wasn't. I mean, they pretty much knew the 15s game, how to play the 15s game. But I'm sure if more competition, both nationally and especially in their local comp, they can continuously play a 15s competition. I'm pretty sure next year the level of 15s that they'll be playing will be a lot higher than what we witnessed this afternoon.
Meanwhile, Export Rugby continues and more players continue to show their potential on the field. Dini Rose Raiko, National EMTV Sports.
Defending premiers Ipswich Jets arrived in Port Moresby today for tomorrow's match against the Hunters. The team to take on the Hunters is the same team that beat them last year during the semi-finals. Amongst the team were brothers Richard Pandya and former Hunter Sebastian Pandya.
The Jets sit on 6th place on the ISC ladder, and with 5 games left in the competition, tomorrow's match will be difficult. This was made clear by Jets coach Shane Walker.
Both hookers that play are more than a handful, as well as Thompson Tete and Adex Wera. They're both both strike players, so we know we're going to have to do a great job against them.
Walker added they plan to play more defensive tomorrow, knowing how dangerous the Hunters can be.
Yeah, look, tomorrow we'll just continue to play the way we've always played, and plenty of ball movement. And we know we're going to have to do a great job in defence because obviously they're great ball carriers. So,
as what many players from teams in the ISC say, Jets captain Dame Phillip mentioned again, playing the Hunters is always physical, and many players go back sore after the match.
They're always physical, these fellas. Everyone's sore every time you play them, but we know what they're going to do, and we've got to be ready for that. But the crowd's obviously a help for them guys, so we've got to get out there early and make sure we match it with them, because if that crowd gets behind them, they can do anything. So we'll make sure we'll try and stop that.
Amongst the team were brothers Sebastian and Richard Pandya, who were greeted by family and friends at the Jackson's International Airport. Former Hunter Sebastian says he's psyched and ready to take on his former teammates.
Nothing special. I'm just bringing game into a forward now. Hopefully, we can help the team and see winner. Then hopefully we'll make it finals.
As for Richard, he was happy to be back in Port Moresby and to play at the new National Football Stadium.
Oh, it's just not me. It's just everyone in the team, mate. Just work together. Share the workloads. Everyone putting their hands up, doing their stuff. So if everyone works together, then everything goes well, and then probably win the game. So yeah.
The match is scheduled to kick off tomorrow at 4 p.m. at the National Football Stadium. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Plenty more still to come in Trukai Sports. We have cricket, Rio Games and tennis. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To cricket, Barramundis are now training for their next international match in South Australia. After beating Kenya on home soil, the Barramundis will next participate in the South Australia Premier League. Captain Jack Vara said the team is ready and confident to face 5 other Australian teams.
This year will be the 4th time for Papua New Guinea to participate at the tournament in Adelaide.
We are preparing for South Australia Premier League. This would be our 4th tournament going in. The boys are preparing well, but before that, I'm pretty sure the boys will play a few state games in Australia leading up to the South Australia Premier League. South Australia Premier League is a competition where they get 4 teams from Adelaide, from South Australia, plus the 2 invited teams, which is us, the Hebo PNG Barramundis, and the NT team from Darwin.
Before the Premier League, the Hebo Barramundis will attend the state championship. After the Premier League matches, the Barramundis will return home to prepare for the Namibia international match. Papua New Guinea will host the match in October.
It's pretty similar to the one against Kenya, but this time it will be a I-Cup first. We play 4-day cricket, Intercontinental Cup. That's a 4-day cricket match. It's similar to a test cricket match.
Godwin Aki, National EMTV Sports.
Cricket PNG, in partnership with the PNG High Performance Centre of Excellence, ran a 2-day workshop in Port Moresby this week with guest speaker Sanj Silva from Cricket New Zealand. The theme of the workshop, Better People Make Better Athletes. The main focus areas were personal development, risk management and career transitioning.
The program, which took place on the 26th of this month, saw guest speaker Sanj Silva from New Zealand Cricket Players Association. The workshop was targeted at 3 areas, from personal development, where athletes were to build on their personal brand and soft skills, risk management, managing personal stresses of elite sport, and career transitioning, where athletes set up goals for successful and satisfying careers after sport. A former class cricketer, Sanj Silva, said imparting his knowledge and skills to athletes of PNG, especially to do with cricket, is a bonus to the country, as athletes are now able to receive first-hand advice and professional information dealing with elite athletes.
It's research, and we certainly believe that people who are well-rounded people, well-organized people, they also become better sportsmen over a long period. And also, as part of that also is that sport's going to come to an end at some stage, so they need to have something else to fall back on.
Barramundis cricket captain Jack Vara said going through the program, he and his colleagues now have a better understanding of what to expect once they leave cricket and what they can expect when they make their career choices in life.
For us cricketers, we want to develop our personal skills. Come the transition time, you are well prepared to do whatever after cricket. And
Manager for Programs and Events Lois Garena spoke on behalf of the HPCE, thanking Cricket PNG for their partnership and Sanj Silva for the program. She said after going through the program, athletes will now have a fair idea on how to manage the areas covered that is of significance to their life after cricket.
To help them. So personal development that Sanj had taken us through was one main subject topic that we talked about, and one area in which a lot of our elite athletes, not in just Papua New Guinea, but in Australia, New Zealand, other countries in the world face. And it's a challenging area for us as a high performance to work with.
Godwin Aki, National EMTV Sports.
International Olympic Committee President Thomas Beach says Rio Olympics will be successful despite the challenges in preparation when taking a time out to hit the beach after arriving in Rio de Janeiro. Beach made these remarks after complaints from several countries expressing their concerns on the athletes' village not ready in time for the Games.
International Olympics Committee President Thomas Beach received the Brazil national soccer-themed jersey before showing off his skills and taking some penalty kicks at an event for underprivileged teens at Barra Tijuca Beach.
You know, in the last days before the game starts, there are always many issues and many challenges to overcome. This is always the same at any Olympic Games, and there Rio makes no difference.
After the event, the IOC president said he was confident the Rio Games will be great, in spite of the challenges in the preparation.
Seeing the great progress which has been made there in the last couple of months, seeing the enthusiasm of the Brazilians, and in the meantime knowing them a little bit, you know, that they like to finish things in the last second. I'm sure it will come together and we will have great games.
Criticisms erupted this week over the quality of the work at the privately funded Olympic Village. Australia said housing was not safe or ready, and other countries such as Italy, Argentina and New Zealand also expressed concerns. However, organizers deployed more than 600 workmen to tackle the last-minute problems with water and electricity. At the Olympic Village this week before the Rio 2016 Olympics opening ceremony on August the 5th. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
Former #1 Roger Federer has pulled out of the Rio Olympics and will miss the rest of the season, including the US Open. He will be out because he needs more extensive rehabilitation on his knee after surgery.
Last month, he described how one move sparked a chain of bad luck, which resulted in left knee surgery in February and him sitting out the French Open. For much of his career, the former world #1 had been blessed with a body that seemed bulletproof against the aches, pains and injuries suffered by most top athletes. One false move by the man known for his gliding footwork following his Australian Open semi-final loss means he would have gone a whole season without a title for the first time since 2000. With Federer now taking part in the Rio Olympics, this sees his hopes of winning an Olympic singles title come to an end. However, he was rattled when he landed heavily on his left knee after rolling his ankle during the 5th set of his semi-final defeat by Canadian Milos Raonic at Wimbledon. Although Federer, who was left face down on the turf following the fall, got up to complete the match, he was worried about the long-term effects on his knee. Elijah Lavette, National EMTV Sports.
That ends Trukai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, light intermittent showers for Port Moresby and Kerema, squally showers for Daru, rain for Alatau and light showers as well for Popondetta. In the Momase region, showers for Lae, rain with possible thunderstorms for Madang and rain with thunderstorms for Wewak and Ivanimo. In the New Guinea Islands, showers for Lorengau, chances of few showers for Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, a shower or two for Kimbe and fine weather for Buka. And in the Highlands region, some showers then morning fog for Mount Targan, Mendi and Wabik, and showers then morning fog for Goroka and Kundiawa. Forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours, but first strong wind warning current for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerema, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, to all islands and waters of Milne Bay located south. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerema, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, to Samurai Island, seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, seas 1 to 3 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finschhafen, seas 1 to 2 meters. Waters of Finschhafen through Vitis Strait and Dampier Strait, CSE Islands to Long Island, seas 2 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Long Island to Madang, to Bogia, to Wewak, to Vanimo, and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 0.7 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 0.3 to 1.2 meters. And after of New Ireland to East New Britain to Bougainville and with waters of West New Britain, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. The ocean forecast for PNG areas in the Coral Sea sees rough with southeast winds at 25 to 34 knots with gusts. In the Solomon Seas, seas slight to moderate with east to southeast winds at 10 to 16 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas moderate with southeast to easterly winds at 11 to 20 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas slight with southeast to easterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. Before we go, a quick look on news making headlines. Minister Duma commends SOEs' performances, First Finance Department staff take ownership of homes, and more people are brushing every year. That's it for this Friday, the 29th of July 2016. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.